Hey everybody, welcome back to the Pressing Matters. I'm Scott. Thank you for tuning in today and thank you for your support. Well, today I have some news and updates from the Analogue Productions Living Stereo situation and a review for a very special title called Facade. I'll get to the review in a moment. I want to talk about the situation. If you have been following along with this story, you probably have seen my video called The Final Act for Analogue Productions Living Stereo. If you haven't seen it, this is a good place to start so you get up to date on the story. But it's very simple. The titles are falling out of print rapidly. Since the publication of that video, and right around the time of that video, we lost Charles Munch Bolero, we lost Morton Gould's Copland disc with Billy the Kid and Rodeo. We lost Petrushka, which came out, which went out of stock pretty much simultaneously with my video. The Rubinstein Rachmaninoff disc that I urged everyone to get, that one stayed around for another couple of weeks after the video and then disappeared. We also lost the Sibelius Symphony No. 5 that I just reviewed. Now, this had nothing to do with my video, to my knowledge. I was reviewing the comments of the day the video was released, and a viewer told me, "Oh, I just got this record today. What a coincidence." He said, "I love it." And I went back onto the website to order more and looked at the out-of-stock status across the series, and he said the Sibelius is gone today. I double checked and I was like, oh man, you know, the whole point of this series is to alert you to things that are still available. I don't want to retread things that you can't get, but that happened the same day. So I don't know if we got the last two copies or what, but they are falling fast and furious. So I ordered 4 more, and I also have another one here to talk about in the next video. That is the Sibelius Heifetz disc. So the 4 titles I'm going to keep a surprise until I get to them. So I just chose some things that I didn't have in any form. Another interesting segment of this story is I was carrying these titles in my Amazon affiliate storefront. They were available, fulfilled by Acoustic Sounds, sold by Amazon. And I went onto the site to clean it up and remove anything that was no longer available. And I looked through everything and nothing is available through Amazon any longer. So I had to remove that part of the website. And it made me think they probably are consolidating the supply to be sold directly through their store. So that is my guess. I looked around some other places that were carrying them, like the In Groove. Most are not available, even if they are still in print. And it seems like that's what's happening there. So the source looks like the source going forward will be Acoustic Sounds. So check there for any updates. And of course, I'll update you on anything that I find out as well. You know, a viewer told me, you know, why don't you ask Chad if he can give us the numbers? And I thought about that. I said, that would make sense. I wish he would. He's probably going to watch this video, so he has my number if he wants to reach out to me and let me know what's running low. I don't know if that would be beneficial for him or not, but it would certainly be nice for us to know so we can target our buying and make sure we don't miss something that's very low in stock. Well, fortunately, the one I'm going to talk about today is in stock as of this publication. It is William Walton's Facade. This was part of Decca's package with RCA Living Stereo. It was recorded in, I got 2 reports. Acoustic Sound says it was recorded in Walthamstow Assembly Hall, and Discog says it was recorded in Watford Town Hall. So I'm not really sure exactly. If anyone knows, please let us know. It is Antold Fistoulari with the Royal Opera House Orchestra of Covent Garden. It is 2 light ballet scores, one quite irreverent, and that's Facade. The second side is taken up with Lecocq. Did I say that right? Lecocq? Lecoq's Mamzelle Angot. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but that's another great track that's on this album. I mainly focused on Facade because it is so fascinating. Unlike some of the other Decca Living Stereo titles that we've talked about that were recorded by Kenneth Wilkinson, this was recorded by Ken Cross. And I have to say that he has done a magnificent job capturing the sound of the orchestra and of the hall. Audiophiles sometimes talk about the hall sound or the sound of the hall. Captured in a recording, and you might not understand completely what that means, and you will if you listen to this record. It captures the volume and size of the hall, and you hear or you get an impression of where the back of the hall is and how wide it is, and it's kind of a fun sonic thing to hear, and you don't get that in every recording. It all depends on mic placement and of course the score as well. This score lends itself to displaying that in the way certain percussion comes across. You'll hear wood blocks and you'll hear it echo off the back wall, triangles, cymbals, different things like that. And of course the crescendos have a long decay, which gives you an indication of how big the hall is. So that's a fascinating aspect of this record. The composition was from 1922. It is a lampoon of several musical styles. You'll hear kind of a fun takeoffs on a waltz, a tango, a Swiss yodeling song, country dance, a polka, tarantella. It's a takeoff on certain dance styles, and it's a suite. Actually, it's taken from 2 suites that were extracted from the original work. The original work was to include, or does include, a recitation. So Edith Sitwell was a poet, and she created these verses to clash with this music. And although I haven't heard anyone do the full version, and I would love to, and I plan to, some very famous voices have tried it. I have read some of the verse, and it's avant-garde for sure. Very weird. And I'm sure it's quite a delight to hear, especially for us these days. But in 1922, it didn't go over that well. People were like, huh? Okay. This is really avant-garde. And it is, in a way. It's very unusual to combine these 2 things in this way. It wasn't even sung words, it was spoken. So a very unusual creation. Fortunately, the orchestral suites carry on, and they're still a popular staple in the repertoire of the Royal Opera House Orchestra in Covent Garden. This music is fun, effervescent, irreverent, and a delight to listen to, especially because it's so sonically interesting. You'll hear a beautiful deep bass floor on this album, powerful pizzicato strings, wonderful woodwinds, beautiful string tone, lovely percussion, great dynamic contrast. It's all there. The first time I heard this, I played it when I first got the Analogue Productions like several months ago, and I declined to review it because things didn't really click for me that one time. And that happens sometimes. Your system's not sounding that great. It's the wrong time of day. There's a strange draw on the power grid. You're not in the receptive mood. There's many reasons why you might hear something and say, it's all right, and shelve it. And that's kind of what happened when I first heard this. But since the disappearing living stereo situation is happening, I said, you know what? I've got the title here. Let me pull out my other copies and we'll do a comparison. So that's what I did. The other copies I have are the Victrola. So this is a Plum label Victrola. This is available for not too much money, a little more than a normal Victrola might be, which is like $10. This might go for 25 or up to 40, maybe, in perfect condition. This is Plum label, 1S, 1S. Of course, the 1S, 1S doesn't mean it's from the same plates as the Red Seal Shaded Dog, which goes for about $275. There was only one pressing of that originally on the Living Stereo label. So I think there is only a 1S, 1S pressing. The Victrola was done 8 years after the original release. And honestly, listening to it closely this time, I was surprised at how strong the tape hiss is. It almost eliminates it from the running. The music's still fascinating. The sound is still good. There's not a major problem with the sound, except that the hiss kind of obscures the sparkling detail. And for that reason, it's a placeholder. If you have it, I think you can do better. It does have a good dose of Living Stereo magic about it, but for some reason that transfer really emphasized the tape sound, and it's a little bit obtrusive. It casts kind of a blanket over things, and for that reason I cannot recommend the Victrola. The one that really caught my attention when I revisited these was Bernie Grundman's classic. I talked about Bernie Grundman's classic records in general and the Sibelius in particular in the last video. And I told you how I didn't really think that the Sibelius was that successful. Some of his cuts can come off a little too revealing, too harsh. Not this one. This one was a delight from start to finish, and such a difference over the more gauzy sounding Victrola. This is clarity and depth and nuance and sparkle. It's got everything. And I could hear right into the vast soundstage here. And all those little things that I mentioned, like woodblock strikes and chimes and bells and tambourines, you hear the reflection off of the walls, and it's really, really vivid, but not harsh. Very beautiful, low tape hiss, which surprised me. It's almost invisible, which is really beautiful because it allows a lot more detail to come out. It's a fascinating record, very good. I saw that Acoustic Sounds has this listed for $40 sealed from one of their collections they bought. So that's an option. If you can get one used, you're going to have a very, very good record. Beautiful. This is the Analogue Productions version. It comes in a heavy cardstock with like a low luster finish. This would have been really pretty in a gloss finish, but you know, when you look at the artwork, it's really reproduced well. It gives you a good indication of the type of music that's on this. It's like a burlesque vaudeville type of show, almost a series of scenes of witty takes on this these different dance styles, and I love that about this. This one was mastered by William Mackee, so it wasn't done by Ryan K. Smith. This was, as I said, the tapes resided in Europe, so William Mackee did mastering for those. Some time has elapsed between the classic and this one, and I think maybe the tape has suffered a little bit. Not detrimental by any means, but there is more tape hiss on this version. Sonically, otherwise, it's about the same. About the same as Bernie's. Still has all the sparkle and nuance, and just missing a little bit of the ultra black noise floor. And that is what's so special about the classic. But I got to tell you that this is a big success as well. I don't think it has any drawbacks besides the tape hiss. And if you want a brand new copy and you're having trouble finding the classic, this is an excellent alternative, and it's still available in in the Acoustic Sounds website as of this publication. So overall, this is a great record. It's so much fun to listen to. I think most people will love it as a change of pace. Be sure to audition it first to make sure it's your cup of tea. It may not be for everyone. It's certainly not a serious piece of music, and it wasn't meant to be. It's meant to be a witty lampoon of music, and for that, it's very successful, and the recording is just splendid. So those are my thoughts on Facade. Let me know what you think in the comments. Until next time, I'm Scott for the Pressing Matters. Have a great day.